product is fine, but I want something that's more just raw, has edges to it, which is why I also like these couple of albums by a group called the Nip Drivers.
I can tell you right now, pal, these hands have broken bonds.
Well, howdy, Nearly Senior Citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day. I had a fan in my window last night, a fan at the foot of my bed, the fan at the side of my bed, wearing only a sheet. And yet, this morning when I moved, it was warm enough that my right inner thigh muscle cramped. Oh, it's gonna be a great summer. Yay. Past that though, I actually slept a fairly good amount last night. That's a good thing. So hopefully your day was a good thing. That would definitely be a thumbs up as well. Yay. And early front loading of videos. Hey, if you could toss me a like if you liked the video, that'd be awesome. If you could subscribe to the channel, if you haven't, that too would be cool. If you could leave me a comment, I really enjoy engagement. That's very awesome. And I would like to thank each and every one of my Patreon patrons, these literally beautiful and literally awesome people that are literally beautiful and literally awesome. Without these people, I would be literally hosed like a Christmas monkey. I don't want to be hosed like a Christmas monkey. That is not a good way to be hosed. So if you would like to help me out and help keep me and my pets alive, if you could become a patron, that'd be very cool. If you'd like to help me out without becoming a patron, there's a PayPal link. And if you'd like to help me out without doing that, I have an Amazon wishlist link with stuff like cat food on it. And that's all in the video description. Thumbs up for that. Front loading of videos over. Yay. So it's warm, and I don't do well in heat, so joy. Still, life is life. I have been surviving, and that's good. I went walkies last night, I played games yesterday, I listened to music, not just last night, but this morning as well. I'm really back into listening to a lot more of Butthole surfers again. They're an interesting group if you have never listened to them. Well, they did their early stuff before like the 2010s, and that's I just popped a bubble with my cheek there. They're an earlier group. They had been doing music for some time by the time it was the early 1980s, so they're around my age. They've been doing this stuff for a long time, but they were big time psychedelic acid punk people where they would take lots of drugs and then go out to perform. The people in the audience would take lots of drugs to come watch them perform. They would have just the bizarrest stuff being shown against the walls. They had weird dancers. They were doing things. There was illegal stuff, nudity. It was just bizarre. Definitely a thumbs up. Their first 3 albums, absolutely just bizarre and insane, and I really enjoy those, and I've been listening to them a lot again, and it's good stuff. After their first 3 albums, studio albums, were produced, they started getting more and more of a studio sound, which I don't really enjoy. If I listen to like punk or this acid stuff, I want it to be raw. I'm not looking for a product, I'm listening for music. Product is fine, but I want something that's more just raw, has edges to it, which is why I also like these couple of albums by a group called the Nip Drivers. Once again, punk back in the 80s, early 80s, really raw stuff. They did songs that were only like maybe 3 minutes and max, and they would have just it was raw stuff. If you look online for the Nip Drivers, Oh Blessed Freak Show, or any of the Butthole Surfer 3 albums, Psychic Powerless, Another Man's Sack, Locust Abortion Technician, or Rembrandt Pussy Horse, they're all awesome stuff. And I just thought I'd rave about that for a while. Yesterday I had therapy, and I talked with my therapist, and that was good. We talked about a lot of stuff, and I also told him how I try to end my videos here telling you to be good to yourself, to not stress out, don't beat yourself up, and if to just go into survival mode, and he is behind that 100%. Very glad that I am doing that and telling people to do so. So that's a good thing. He is happy with my progress and understanding of when I have no progress or when I have regression. So it's okay. It's a good thing. I'm glad I did that. And then I recorded yesterday some Morrowind, and that worked out really well. Irritation of Windows, the operating system. Oh, there's a fly that came in through my open window. Yay. The annoyance of insects. When you don't have a grate over your window, there's just open space, things fly in. But the annoyance of Windows, I have to check the volume of my microphone all the time, because listening to things or doing things, the programs that don't even use the microphone will adjust the microphone volume. I checked the volume in the morning when I did my vlogging, and it was at 100% on the microphone. When I went to record and I put the stuff into the editor, I could barely hear it. So I checked Windows, it had dropped the microphone reception. I'm going to listen to it at 100% down to 76 for no reason. So I had to bump the volume up maximum just to get it up to what the level it's at. Oh, Windows, why? But that was fun. And of course, I have stopped taking the drug Strattera entirely. This taking it every couple of days to try and fire my rocket upward into the Goldilocks zone and then stopping it so that momentum brings me up, and then as I fall, firing it again before it goes too far to go back up, and then stopping and then starting again is just, that's not doing good things for my body. So I have just had to stop taking Strattera entirely, because if I take it for more than just a couple days, I start falling asleep and I become more time blind because of that. I remember things now better from the days before than when I'm taking Strattera. So it's just not helping. Gotta talk to my med manager, let her know. Which, joy, 3 months worth of Strattera were sent to me over the past 2 weeks. So isn't that great? I have 3 months worth of Strattera that just showed up, and it wasn't supposed to do that, so that's fun, especially since I have to pay for prescriptions. Life is life. Taking a look on my list, the stuff that I've got left to talk about is just the creative stuff. I have been trying to think of the creative things as best I can while I go out on walkies. And I walked all the way to Walmart and back again, as I do every day, and that is a 6-mile round trip. It's gotten a lot easier for my back since I figured out the best way to wear my backpack, which is not the best way to wear your backpack, but it has to work for me. I have a lot of nerve damage in my back, and if I wear my backpack up high the way you're supposed to, the lower part of it presses into my back, or will press into the upper part of the swell of my buttocks, and that is where all of your nerves pass through, and that is just torture afterward. So I have to loosen the straps to their absolute lowest so that it rides really low, so that the actual bottom of the backpack hits me at mid buttock point, and it's not pressing on any of my nerves in that. I can walk and do things, miles and miles of carrying a 20-pound box of cat dirt in my backpack. I can do that when it's hanging low because it's not pressing on my nerves. It's causing a lot of extra stress on my upper body, but I'm not in torture, so yay. Still, going for walks is a very good thing. Uh-oh, I hear a little fuzzy guy. So just a moment here, I'm making noises to let him know that I'm here. Hi, little guy. little guy. And this is little Ghosty. I'm gonna pick up little Ghost. I had to pick him up in a bad way, so he got a little scared. And I am sorry I had to scare him. But this is little Ghost, my hamster. He's still alive and healthy and happy, running around and just being a hamster. And he is just such a good little guy. And of course, being a hamster, he likes to face me instead of out this way, so that you can see his face. But he's a cutie, and I really like him a lot. And I just wanted to show him off. So I'm gonna go put him back so he can drink. Here we go, little guy. Here we go. That's a little Ghost. He's getting to be late middle age. I cannot feel the bones of his spine yet, and I cannot feel the bones of his hips, and that's good, because when that happens, it's getting close to the end. Hamsters, cats, people, when we get older, we tend to get thinner. Your cells stop dividing. You get thinner skin. Your muscles start to waste. Your cells of your body only divide so much, and they stop dividing, and you get thinner. Happens with hamsters. When you can feel their spine, the end is coming. Amelia, my kitty cat, wherever she happens to be, oh, she's got spots all along her spine where her vertebrae are pretty sharp. But she's about 20 years old, so yeah, that's gonna hurt when time catches up to her. Oh joy. But now let's see what I was back to. What was I talking about? Creative stuff, yes. And my backpack. While I'm on walkies, I do my best creative thinking. While I'm out doing that, thinking about this, that, and the other. I did a lot of contextualizing of a lot of different things while I was on walkies. One of them is something that I'd wanted to talk about the other day, when I'd mentioned that the sheriff, who comes from the little town of Ockwalloch, and this is the sheriff that gets caught up in a horrible event that slows him down. It's the end of his life, but it takes like 2 billion years to happen for him to experience 4 seconds. So that's sad. But he came from the little town of Ockwalloch. And I had tried to remember why I wanted to mention that as well, because I had been able to contextualize. The water bottle keeps falling over. My sincere apologies. There you go, little guy, you can drink better. I talk to all my animals. The way I just talked to that little guy right now, that's the way I talk to him all the time. That's the way I talk to my cat. That's the way I talk to the guinea pig downstairs. That's why the way I talk to everything. But came from the little town of Ockwalloch, about 1,500 kilometers away from the town of Apple Rock. About 45 years back, he was born there, contextually to the story, and managed to, because there was news and trade, and they were close to enough things that they even heard of the Crimson Kingdom, and, well, not the Crimson Kingdom, they had heard of Apple Rock, the town. So they were far off, but not far away from society. And the sheriff managed to take trips on caravans and got in to Apple Rock, went to the community college, became the sheriff of Tenasket Valley, and then got zapped by energy while he and an EMT were running from one of the Transcended, and that changed him and he slowed down. And it's sad, but I was trying to recontextualize, because I've mentioned before how glamours are, well, everything can be a glamour. Anything with a molecule can be a glamour. But the larger the concentration of molecules, the greater the chance that they would all work together as a molecule. One large rock has a much, much greater chance of becoming a glamour because it has so many more molecules than just a straight piece of dust. More than that, things that are simple, one solid thing, have a much greater chance than things are complex, made of lots of other things. So one big rock will have a greater chance of being a glamour than a pile of rocks or a pile of broken radios. And it's just sort of path of least resistance in that fashion. However, you still have the things like I've mentioned before, something that's happening on the razor's edge where stacks of half-rotting human heads are being placed in places. They're not half-rotting at first. They're freshly torn from necks and shoulders. And then they rot, natural processes. But you'll find these stacks of heads in places, even out here on the outside, only being visible to those with the sight. And it's a frightening thing, but you don't hear about it on the razor's edge where there's lots of people getting their heads torn off. No, only occasionally will you find a place where one of the locals, their head got torn off and is into the head stack. Nobody knows what's tearing heads off. Nobody knows why they're tearing people's heads off, why they're being stacked. It's happening on the inside, all over the razor's edge, and some on the outside. And it's frightening people, and nobody knows if it's a being, a bunch of beings, a species, a belief, or what. But in the town of Aqualach, with about 1,000 people, 1,500 miles out from Apple Rock, they find a stack of heads. And one of them, because they put all the heads on a large table in town to say, please come and look through these, see if you recognize anybody. And there's one person that is recognized. It is this one poor woman who had her head torn off, and there's her head. So they go out to her house, and yeah, there's her body. And it's not a pleasant way to have your head torn off, because there's bruising on these people's heads, and you only can bruise when you're alive. So something grabbed their heads and bruised them with the grip before blood stopped flowing. They find bruising on shoulders and then front and back. No real indication of fingers, but something is pushing on the shoulder, gripping the head, and then just pulling. And then stacking these heads in places. And the problem with it, I have a very annoying fly that has come in through my window. If you see it, I'm very sorry. It is now bothering the snot out of me. But this is a problem because for the first time in anyone's living memory, it keeps happening in Aqualach. Even going in pairs doesn't seem to help. They try to pair up, and then they have two people that are working as security people, and they stop answering their walkie-talkies, and when they find them, both of them have no heads. So I don't know why I'm bubbling so much around my dentures today. My apologies, but so there's something bad happening, and unfortunately Aqualach ain't gonna have many people left in it by the end. And there's going to be a large number of stacks of heads. And I've opened up 24 hours worth of comments in my community tab. Going to go through and thank however many people have left me comments in the past 24 hours. If I mispronounce the username, no disrespect is intended. And even though I count American Sign Language, well, you've already seen how my brain works. I'm sometimes lucky that I can, live. Mason Odon, thank you very, very much. It is appreciated. Confused Owl 29, always good to see you in the comments. Stephen Blanchard, thumbs up and thank you. JAYY, and body horror is good. I'll have to talk more about body horror tomorrow. Body horror is horrific. We have Kevin Corrales, thumbs up and thank you. There is Loco 5, thumbs up, thank you very, very much. Ben B, greatly appreciating, good to see you in the comments. Corbin's channel, thumb up. Corbin's channel, thumbs up, and thank you very, very much. We have Rubius Hog, which is Red Hog, thumbs up, thank you very, very much. Jesse Koskinen, thumbs up, and thank you, good to see you in comments. And that is it. 10 people who left me comments in the past 24 hours. You get me out of my head and into the world and dealing with real people, if only for a short time, and if only in text. It is appreciated to no end. Thumbs up and thank you. So I'm going to try and get some phone calls done. If I can, that's good. If I can't, I'm not going to beat myself up for it. I have executive dysfunction. That's like still trying to walk up a flight of stairs with no legs. Just because I know I have no legs doesn't mean I can just suddenly get up out of my chair. You can still make the trip. There are ways to do it. You're not stuck. They may not be easy or fun, but you can do it. There are ways that I can work through it. They're not easy or fun. And of course, with all the stuff out there that can just wipe you out, please be smart for your situation. Take the appropriate precautions. If you should mask up, please mask up. If you should isolate, please isolate. If you should wash your hands, and you should all the time, no matter what, please wash your hands. Don't throw your body onto the end-of-life corpse pile before you have to. And always get vaxxed, get boosted. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is a very good thing.